Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are back in War Thunder doing another live little bit. Now, today, somebody asked me maybe a week ago, I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but they asked me to show some positions on each one of the ground forces map, which are pretty good for tank destroyers and stuff like that. Now, obviously, it's going to take a long time to do all of these, so I thought, why not start off just going through the list of the battles? Obviously, going through the conquests would be a hell of a lot harder and take a lot of time, so we're just going to do some live ones, going through each battles. I'll probably show about 4 positions, which are pretty good on each of the maps, and these will generally be the ones that you should either prioritize, or the ones which follow the main routes of the game. So let's get out. We are on the second battle of El Alamein, and we're going to go around in the Type 62. Now, obviously a lot of these positions, it's going to come down to what vehicle you are using. Gun depression does come into it quite a lot, and also if you have a turret or not. Generally, gun depression is a good thing, and so is a turret. So we're going to be going from a standpoint of, I'm going to describe the positions, what it would be good for, what it generally is good for, but just remember that this game is normally quite biased towards stuff with turrets and stuff with gun depression. It's why at the higher levels, medium tanks are the way to go, and most levels, medium tanks are the way to go. But we're going to go in the Type 62, spawn on the right side, and we'll take a position on the right side. I'll generally do 2 positions per side. I think that's a good idea. The graphical quality right now is on high, so we're not on movie or anything like that. So let's go to the first position. So you spawn on this side to the right, which is the general spawn as well for the domination and conquest modes. Follow this road down here, and keep going. Depending on who you're fighting against, if you're fighting against Germany or something like that around 6.7, you will have to watch out for RU-251s, which are going to come at you pretty quickly. So, as you know, we just go back here. I'm trying to get to a position where the normal domination point is, which is basically here, right? This is the little alley that most of your team will get stuck in while they're trying to capture the domination point, which is sat here. This is the general position, okay? So this is where we're going to come from. So you don't want to go this way. I was just setting my bearings, and understand that this area is a complete no-go zone for the majority of vehicles unless you're in a heavy tank and you're confident at bouncing shots and being able to ricochet and then hit the next shot. So instead of doing that, what you do is you go and back here where we started off, just down there in the spawn, and you follow this road. Now unfortunately some of the AI have decided to come here, so let's just kill him really quick, and you follow this road until you get to this point. Now you have a decision to make, and it is a quite key decision. If you are facing, or believe you're going to face, a lot of fast tanks, so stuff like Hellcats, stuff like RU-251s, things like that, what you should not do is try and do this. So you should not move up to this area. Make sure to try and hide your tank as much as possible and use this rock as a little bit of cover, plus the bushes, and sit around this area. Right? So you shouldn't do this. But if you are not coming up against fast tanks or stuff like that, or maybe you're feeling confident, then yes, you should. And if that is clear, you either push forward and go through the little gate there, or you double back and go through this one here. You can use the other side to come up that way, and capiche. The next thing you have to do is to make sure that there is nobody coming up there, and there is nobody sat on these hills here. So maybe I'll just show you how we can do that. We still haven't got to the position yet. This is all just trying to get to the position itself. So let's go down here. Obviously this is quite a steep incline, so getting shots from here is quite hard to do. So while we're coming up here, bino mode, and you want to have a look at this ridgeline. The reason for this is there is generally at least one tank destroyer or one medium tank sat up on this ridgeline somewhere. You just want to have a look, make sure that there's nobody here, push up, make sure there is no turrets or anything here, and then go straight into your normal view, because you can actually use your camera to look down in that area once you've cleared out this area here. So the first priority is making sure that there is nobody around here, because there will be somebody who is trying to either push up there or move to there. Then get out of binoculars, do this so you have a better angle to look down. If there's nobody there, you want to push forward. Now at this point, what is going to happen is that generally the enemy team around this point of the map will be contesting this point. So you've got to put yourself right here, obviously with your gun pointing this way. There should be people on the points, you take them out. If you're feeling a bit more conservative, don't do that and just wait for your team to push forward, because you've also got to remember that they may be getting reinforcements from here. But putting yourself in the position near here means that, let's just turn around, it means that it's very hard for the enemies from this area here to push up. Now at the same time, the only time you take this position is if you see a clear road from here, or your team is pushing up from that area over there, right? Because if they're not pushing through that area, that means that the enemy can easily come through that area, which cuts off, or means that the enemy can shoot you from there while you are targeting people over here. So that is something you just have to understand. When you've taken that point, or if you've taken that point, which you should do if you're able to get into that position and do some good work, what that leaves you is the actual nice point of this map. Now, this point here, if you can get to, generally you will have won the engagement and you've pushed the enemy back. On their second spawn, if they do spawn, you can just sit in this position with your tank destroyer or with your Hellcat or with whatever you have, maybe Sherman, maybe anything, and you can shoot straight into their spawn. Their spawn is about there, is about here. And if you're feeling a little bit more conservative, what you do is you sit your gun right here. There we go, because that's the corner that they're going to come around. Use your binos to look over this so you can see where they're coming from. If you see them coming from down here, generally in this direction, then you can just wait for them to come here. They won't be expecting you. And that's basically all you have to do. There is a slightly better position if you want to take it, which is here. As you can see, there is a little slit that you can get your gun through, but generally this means that the shot is slightly harder, and as you can see, it's on a slight down curve, so if you don't have a lot of gun depression, prop yourself up against this little piece of rock here and look at that corner. So we'll just have to push our way here. There we go. So we're looking at the corner again. Once again, with the binos, we can also look and see what enemies are coming from that spawn from this direction. This locks down a third of the map. So let's see. Where's that BT7? There he is. So the BT7 literally just spawned in. He's actually going the other way. So is the other guy, so they're actually going around. So this is a bad example. But generally, the players will come this way. So you see that M22? He's just spawned in. He's coming this way. And it seems like he's ran into an ally, which obviously isn't great, because it means that I can't illustrate my point. But as you can see, even just as they spawn, you can see them. You can see them coming around, and we'll follow him. You can shoot him at this point if you feel like it. You have to be in this position over here, though, and the shot is a lot harder. Instead, it's much better to sit in this position, especially if you're not stuck with a ton of armor. Because if you're in that position over there, you'll be able to hit one person, then you're going to have to relocate. If you're sat in this position here, then you can just wait. You can see the dust clouds of the M2 coming forward, and there he is. So if we just hold on this corner, since he's going to come around the rocks, they may come over here, so if you want to reposition, you can reposition to about here, and he's completely oblivious, and we can take him out. Simple as that. Now this position does mean that your team has to be pushed up quite a lot and maybe have already won the battle, but you can influence winning the battle by doing this over here, like I talked about. The only thing that you've just got to watch out for is this road here has to be completely clear. Now, generally there's at least 1 or 2 enemies that do go that way, so you do have to watch out for that. But generally, if you take them out and you make sure that that hill back there is clear, then you're going to be in really good stead to sit in that position and not really worry about anything. So let's push forward. Through this middle area, it's very much easy to play. All you've got to do is move rock by rock, take your time and be cautious, make sure to check your flanks, everything like that. There's no key positions there when it comes to it. Then we go to the town, where there is 2 lovely positions that you can take. So generally the domination point is in the center of this town, near the church over there. A lot of these walls you can shoot through, so you've got to be careful of that. While pushing through the town, make sure that every area is clear. Because even if you take the town, even if you have a lot of tanks in the town, there will be people on the enemy team who take up positions like I'm going to show you. Now the positions are generally on these rocks, or they're on those rocks back there, but they are quite easy positions to get to, and if you have a decent amount of frontal armor, you can kind of sit in them for a long time. So here's one of the positions, right in here. Now if we turn, you can see we have complete control over this whole area of the map. That is where the domination zone generally is. So if, let's say, the enemy has captured the domination zone and they start to push out, well, we have this wonderful position which you don't have to worry about gun depression for. You don't really have to worry about engine power either, because getting up this little hill is pretty easy to do. So you just have to wait here. If you have pushed through the that, and are actually on the green side, like I am at the moment, then you can also use this position to shoot into here. You can see the spawn, as you can see back there, but you can also see here. Now this is a little bit more dangerous, since you have to try and put yourself into a position where you will get shot by a Panther 4C. Should have brought a bit of an up-armored tank. Let's bring the ISU 122. It'll take us a bit longer to get to the battle, and we'll actually go from this point, but it'll illustrate that you can get to those positions even with this thing. This big hunk of junk which has absolutely no upgrades on it, or anything like that. So let's go this way. But there are lots of areas like that around the town on both sides. I'll show the other one very quickly while I move over there with this ISU 122, which is an interesting vehicle. You don't generally see it quite much, just because why would you take this when you can take an IS-2, or a T-44 122, or a T-34 AC-5? It's just unfortunate that tank destroyers don't really have a lot of place in the game. But the idea of a lot of these positions around this town area is to try and cover the entrances that the enemies are going to come in. So you have a few main roads coming in on each side, and if you're able with one tank to cover one of them, then that basically means you can shut down the whole town with about 3 tanks, depending on what side you're fighting from. From this side, it takes 2 tanks to cover the town, the side that I'm on here. And I'll show you the positions with my mouse. So you need 1 tank here, you need 1 tank here. Unfortunately I'm chat spamming, but hopefully you can see my mouse. And then you need 1 tank here. And that covers the whole of the 3 entrances of the town. So let's get this guy into position. So as you can see, we're pushing up here. This is if you're on the purple side and you are pushing to the green side. And you've taken the town successfully. All you have to do is park up here. Now, the good thing about this position as well is it's actually quite hard for planes to see you, because a lot of the time you'll be in shadow, and also you've got big rock formations in front of you, so it's quite hard to see you. And also you've got that nice little road. You've got this nice little road which a lot of people take, so you can see them from there. You can see them coming in, you'll be able to hear them. If you want to push forward a little bit to get more shots on them, this is a bit aggressive. I definitely wouldn't say you should do this, but you can do that if you want, or you could just wait for them to get, you know, a little bit further in, and you can just sit here and wait for them. Simple as that. And they will come. They will come through that road, and you will destroy them. On the other side, if they come up this road, all you have to do is turn, and you can take them out too. And this position is wonderful for that. All you have to do is listen to engine noises, and you should be completely fine. So let's push over to the other positions on the other side. That covers both roads. If you are patient, and if you hear tanks coming and everything like that, and don't try and burst out in front of them, let them come to you, you will have a wonderful time in that position. But remember, after 1 or 2 kills, it is generally a good idea to at least try and relocate, or at least try and relocate in the little position that you have. So, on the other side, you can see the road. Let's go to the road first, which is over here. The other road is here. Now, covering this road is a bit of an arse, to be quite honest. It's much more annoying to cover than the other 3 roads that I just showed. But the only real position you're going to have is generally around here. Okay? This is the probably most aggressive position that you can take, and it does mean that you are open to getting shot. So I wouldn't properly recommend it. If you're going to be serious about trying to cover this road, you're going to have to sit about here. But the rocks will not cover you. Just remember that. Now, if you have some decent engine power, which I believe even this has, you can see that this nice little area here that is kind of designed for a tank to sit and ambush people. This whole town is basically designed to ambush people. And also, if you're in a tank destroyer and you're feeling about going around the little village to the south with all the dunes, just don't waste your time. It is a terrible place to fight for any tank destroyer, especially ones which have limited gun depression, such as this thing. Hey, look! It's as if there's a little entrance here, and people have no idea about it, or just don't know about it. So that position, the reason why I don't like this position back here, if we can go back up to it, because obviously from that platform, oh my days, come on, turn. There we go. The reason I don't like this position, overlooking the road coming in, is exactly because this road here exists. It means that the enemy can flank you at any time. Now, generally, most people don't seem to take this little road or don't even know it exists, but it leads to a nice little position up here. Now, for the green side, there you go. Just wait for somebody to come across. Hopefully they are not checking their corners and blast them straight into the past. For the purple side, you move up this little road here, and then you move forward near this tower. Here we go. And you have this whole little area over here that you can use to your advantage. If you have decent gun depression, or at least some gun depression, you can use this little hill here. You can hide yourself behind it. Maybe if you're in a dicker or something like that. If you're in something like an IS U-122, it's not going to work too well, but in something with a little bit of gun depression, it's a pretty good idea. If you don't have gun depression, then you just move to this little spot. And what you do is you can check that area over there that I talked about before, which somebody will generally be sitting in, especially if the map has gone on longer than 5 minutes. And you can also try and hit people coming into the spawn. Not spawn, sorry, the capture points. It is pretty tough shooting, since, you know, there's a lot of buildings and stuff in the way, but obviously, as I said before, you can shoot through the majority of these buildings, and also the walls. But this is a nice little position, and you can also just push up here if you need a bit of gun elevation and stuff like that. So it is possible. You don't want to go any higher than this though, because you will expose yourself to the whole of the enemy team who is pushing up through the town. But yeah, there's some positions that you can use on either side of the map. The position for the top side, if you're fighting the top side, there generally isn't one. The best thing to do is to either go straight to the cap point from the northern road, or go all the way around and sit on this area here and shoot all of the tanks which are trying to get into the galley. Or the gully, I should say. But generally that's a lot harder to do than the other side. Instead, you should try and focus on the town if you're in a tank destroyer and sit in these little positions that I've shown you, which are pretty decent little positions. If you're feeling very adventurous and you're on the green side, you can sit in a position like this, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it, since whoever spawns will have some wonderful spawn... some wonderful spawn invincibility. And also, there is no real escape from that position. So anyway, I hope this has helped. If you have any tips and tricks of your own for this map, please have a type in the comments or whatever. And let's see what you think. As I said before, I will be trying to do every map like this, so I look forward to them as well. Just some little key positions that I think are great. I'll see you next time.